It seems that Nintendo has, for the moment at least, fallen victim to a patent troll. Now, this particular patent troll is saying, no, we're not a patent troll, honest, but, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. However, I'm getting ahead of myself here. As you may recall, or maybe not, back in 2013, a company by the name of iLife sued Nintendo for a absolutely staggering 144 million for violating its patent. This was patent regarding both the Wii and Wii U, and they basically argued that they violated a patent which is to do with medical motion detection. The case recently went to a jury trial, and yesterday the jury has returned with its verdict. Now, they have actually found that Nintendo infringed the US patent, first filed in 1999, which describes, quote, systems and methods for evaluating movement of a body relative to an environment. Now, I'm going to read the whole patent out in just a second, and you can kind of see how vague it is. But essentially, the patent drawings show a body-mounted motion detector that could detect falls in the elderly. But the actual full phrasing of it is, quote, a system within a communications device capable of evaluating movement of a body relative to an environment, said system compromising a sensor associable with said body that senses dynamic and static accelerative phenomena of said body, and a processor associated with said sensor that processes said sensed dynamic and static accelerative phenomena as a function of at least one accelerative event characteristic to thereby determine whether said evaluated body movement is within environmental tolerance, wherein said processor generates tolerant indicia to response to said determination, and wherein said communication device transmits said tolerance indicia. So, basically, this is very generic and comes down to anything that filters the output of an accelerometer, which is not exactly novel. And this particular function is in, well, a ton of stuff. It's also in, like, pretty much every smartphone of the last 10 years. And, of course, stuff like Fitbit and other stuff like that. So, you can kind of see how incredibly broad this pattern actually is. All that legal mumbo-jumbo basically comes down to you have an accelerometer that senses body movement and filters it through a device. And obviously, in this case, it's body mounted, which obviously the Wii and the Wii U obviously weren't. Now, before you go, wait, so did these guys win their 144 million? No. They won less than 10% of what they were asking for. They got 10.1 million. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is, but you have to remember that this particular lawsuit has been going since 2013 and has only just now reached a verdict. So most of that is probably going straight to the lawyers, to be honest, because they've been fighting it for that long. Now, you might ask why their damage demand was so high, and it's actually based on a royalty of $4 per Wii unit, which is obviously then multiplied by the 36 million units sold in the 6 years before the lawsuit was actually filed. And here's a statement that does make me chuckle, where they claim to not be patent trolls, and I'm like, well, again, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, but hey ho. They said, quote, iLife and its CEO Michael Lehrman are the original inventors of this technology, and the company does not enforce any patents that they do not develop. Unlike so-called patent trolls, iLife also has a history of developing and bringing to market products using their technology. The company spent many years researching and millions of dollars developing the environment-based motion detection technology at issue in this suit. But as my source rightfully points out, and that very same source is Ars Technica, and you can find their article linked in the description below, it is very, very unclear whether or not they are actually able to sell any products at all. And what's really interesting is that the website for iLife has now been taken down, and Lehrman, obviously the guy behind the lawsuit that I just mentioned, is now spearheading something called Sleep Methods Inc., which pretty much is for a more healthful sleep. Now, out of curiosity, I took a peek at the comment section of this Ars Technica article. Now, this patent that iLife allegedly filed was filed back in 1999. And someone very helpfully linked another patent which was filed in 1996. And this could very much also be for this as well. I'm not going to read the whole patent, but you will find a link for that below, as well as the Ars Technica article. Quote, a motion detection monitor for patient movement comprising a sensor providing signals in response to patient movement to provide an alarm under predetermined conditions of said patient. A processor, including an oscillator, is provided for receiving signals from the sensor to provide oscillator interrupt signals proportional to active signals. So basically, you know, both of these patents are extremely similar, and are actually more similar than the technology that iLife allegedly use, and of course the technology that is actually present within both the Wii and the Wii U. And obviously, again, the main issue with this is that iLife's patent is so incredibly vague. You could apply it to, like, the Kinect, you could apply it to the PlayStation Move, you could apply it to, like, a modern smartphone, like, pick one, it can probably be applied to that as well. And this is the issue with the US patent system in a whole, to be honest, that it's just, these incredibly vague patents are allowed to be filed, and it just basically allows patent trolls like this to just pull this crap, essentially. You know, this doesn't even slightly sound similar to what Nintendo had, really. I mean, it's using similar ideas, sure, but it's in a completely separate industry and is using it in a completely different way, and again, it's incredibly vague and could be applied to literally anything. Now, unsurprisingly, Nintendo are going to appeal this decision, and I think they're very, very right to do so, because in my opinion, the patent trolls iLife should not have been awarded in this case. So hopefully the second jury rules in Nintendo's favour, because as much as, you know, Nintendo have kind of been doing some stuff that I don't really like recently with the whole YouTube thing and the SNES Mini thing and the NES Mini thing, that doesn't mean I want them to lose against guys who should obviously not be winning in this particular case. You know, this could have some pretty serious ramifications if other patent trolls get ideas in their head about being able to pull this kind of crap, if they have, of course, the capital to pull it off. You know, the fact that these guys are able to sue Nintendo for such a long period kind of shows the money at play here, obviously, and that's why they're asking for so much as well. So, I have a feeling this is not the last we've heard of this particular lawsuit, but, you know, for now, that is me done for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe, and if you'd be so kind, check us out on Patreon. Even if you don't end up donating, your support really does make a huge deal of difference. So, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.